Pong, the game that inspired so many copies that it spawned the video game industry. Everyone knows what Pong is, just like Tato's monumental game, Space Invaders, that marked the beginning of the golden age of video games, inspiring many manufacturers to enter the market. While video games rose in popularity and became a common sight in households, technology was advancing and developers were able to portray realistic images in their games, including violence. As their popularity went up, they became subject to criticism, as themes of violence were prominent in the most popular games. As a result of these realistic images, popular media often connects violent crime and shootings to popular video games like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. For instance, if a criminal of violent crime, like the Sandy Hook shooter, is discovered to have owned one of these games, then the games become accused of influencing the criminal, even though they have been played by a very high amount of people around the country. Before you think that there are no restrictions on violent video games, there are a couple of games that have actually crossed the line of what is acceptable. In the 2009 game Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, one scene in which the character participates in a terrorist attack in an airport caused controversy. As a result, the developer of the game gave the player an option to opt out of this scene. Another video game, Carmageddon, featured running over people with a car for points. The UK did not find this acceptable and banned it from being sold even after the developers switched to people with zombie and robot counterparts. Video games don't cause violence, because the real causes of violence are problems with the family and community. Neighborhoods with lots of crime are characterized by high concentrations of families with missing fathers. There is also a correlation between absence of mother's love of a child abuse, and lack of supervision of children with violent crime. Violent behavior in children is also influenced by social problems, like rejection by other children and failure at school. Crime rate is something that often defines a country as a whole, and if these violent video games truly had an influence on violent crimes, then there would be a direct correlation between the rise in popularity of video games and the national crime rate. However, the opposite is true. As the popularity of these games went up, overall violent crime rate in the US decreased. Today, people are blaming violence on video games. In the past, similar things have been blamed on rock and roll music and also comic books. And it would appear that there will always be something to blame for all the social abnormalities. And video games is the current one. But video games do not cause violence.